Hi, everyone. I'm Seth.
Hi, guys. I'm Monique.
And this is
Gay Math. The Gay Math Podcast.
With Seth
and Monique.
This is Gay Math.
Okay.
With Seth and Monique.
Hello.
Episode 10.
Yes.
Double digits, baby.
We finally made it.
So maybe Venmo us $10,000 each,
Yes.
I think is probably 10 episodes, $10,000.
Right.
It's like...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like fair and accurate. So
Yeah. And I think that's what our talent is worth.
Exactly.
At least.
Exactly. $1,000 an episode. That's our minimum now.
Yeah. Per person.
Yes. But like once we get larger, at some point, we will be asking for more.
The rate will go up.
Yes.
So get in now while you can.
Exactly.
At this low price.
Exactly.
But we're back.
We're back.
Episode 10. The last episode was Chaos.
Yes. Very chaotic. We were pre-gaming.
To go to Futch, which we're going to Futch tonight.
Yes, but we're not intoxicated or anything currently.
I am 100% sober.
Yes.
Boring.
Which is
totally kidding.
Which makes sense because you did drive here. So
I did drive here, so I figured that would be for the best.
Yeah, that
to
would be
sober.
Exactly. That would be the smartest move because
it's also 3 p.m.
Literally.
So I figured it was a little early.
It's 3 p.m.
And Futch starts at 10.
Exactly.
We've got some time to get drunk, so don't worry.
Could you imagine if not driving drunk? That's horrible.
Right.
But imagine if you had started drinking from now to not even to 10 to 2 a.m.
Yeah, I was about to say 10 is just when the doors open.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 hours of dancing.
No.
I would need to... I don't think I could.
No, you would have to literally
It'd be between God and my body. I don't know.
Yes. But
straight drinking for 8 hours is just...
That's insane. But
and
anyways, guys.
Night.
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
But this is our relationship episode.
Yes. But first, before we get into it, I'm Monique.
Seth.
And this is the Gay Math Podcast.
Woo! Remembered.
Of course.
That's an extra 1,000, I think.
Yeah.
I think if we remember the intro, you have to Venmo us more.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's only fair.
We're on our working, shit. So
exactly.
This is serious. This is a real podcast.
Clocked in.
Exactly.
But
yes, today is our relationship episode.
We've been talking about it, alluding to it, saying we need to do it someday. And today is that day.
Exactly.
So quit writing all the letters, quit the DMs. The episode's here.
It's here, and we're so excited that we could bring it to you. But first, before we get into the episode, I have something to say.
The floor is yours.
And I am seeing everyone on TikTok talk about Palestine.
Yes.
And I think we've mentioned it before. And I'm also constantly posting about it on Instagram. My Instagram. Yeah, my Instagram, and I repost stuff on TikTok and but my thing is this, I think it's so important to just even mention, even though we're not the biggest creators or anything, but I think even if somebody watches our video and knows that we support a cause that's it's literally affecting thousands of people, and people are dying, kids are dying, it's something that it should be near and dear to everyone's heart. But it's sad to see that some people don't understand or aren't just aren't aware of the world around them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, and I was thinking I hate to have to give people this comparison, but for people to understand, because it shouldn't take this comparison for them to understand. But what if you watch your family, your entire family die?
Yeah.
Or you watched your entire family suffer? that's the reality for a lot of people who are Palestinian American or who are Palestinians who like moved from Palestine, who are forced out or whatever over the years.
Yeah.
And live in America now. And lots of them have lost like countless of people in their family. And like, not even just that, like kids over there, because Rafah, which is now getting bombed by Israel, is mainly populated with kids.
Yep.
So there are kids over there who have lost their entire families. There are parents who have lost their children. There are mothers and fathers who have lost like people dear to them. So like, yeah, it's a issue that should affect everyone. And I'm so proud to watch people a part of our generation like doing something and saying,
standing up,
saying
protesting.
Something. Yes, holding people accountable, like holding celebrities accountable, holding influencers accountable, holding themselves accountable. Like literally, there are so many, even kids right now, like who are in college, risking like their lives and maybe their livelihoods in the future because this country is built upon like the funding of money to Israel. Like maybe they're risking their futures by doing that. And that's like something that is brave and should be rewarded. And in case you didn't know, now you know.
I was gonna say, if it's ever been a confusion, it's never been clear, we are very pro Palestine, and what is happening and what our government is sending money and doing is not okay, and I am personally not okay with it. And I'm not okay with my tax dollars funding a genocide. And if you're still not certain what side you stand on, the fact that we're even having to talk about which side of the spectrum you're on when 40,000 people have been murdered, and people have been forced out of their homes that they've been born and raised in and completely decimated a whole country. If you're still not sure what side you land on, you need to do some research and you need to open your eyes and you need to look inward and have some sympathy for other people. And like you said, it's sad that you have to be like, imagine your own family going, but like, it's sad that it takes that, but if that's what you need to do, imagine your entire family was bombed and murdered. And the whole world is sitting back, not only just sitting back and watching, but countries like America, where we live and where we pay tax dollars, are funding it. And not only like just giving them supplies, sending them like $20 billion just like this past week. And that was like one payment that they sent them of many. So if you're ever been confused, free Palestine.
It's free Palestine over here from like till it's backwards from the river to the sea.
And it always has been since October, since before. It's free Palestine.
So hopefully if anybody's watching this, which I know we have tons of fans, but if there's anybody watching this and you're wondering what side we're on, which to me, that's even crazy to say, there's no sides. This is exactly like, like it's like saying like right or wrong, like there's one side, the right side.
There's not like whichever side you fall on. There's not, this isn't, do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, yes or no? This isn't, do you like horror movies?
Yes.
This is, people are being murdered.
Yes.
And that's not okay. There's no sides to pick. There's no, maybe I'll support this one, maybe let me see. No. And there is no sides. There is a right thing that's happening and a wrong thing.
And I actually saw this young Palestinian woman, before we like move on, but I saw this young Palestinian woman who gave a college speech, and she was talking about, do you ever think about, like, let's say you were back in the Holocaust and you were like, what would I do then? This is one of those moments. This is like one of those historic moments where if you could go back, or in the future you go back and you're like, what didn't I do, or what did I do then? And this is one of those defining moments in history where you have to do something. If it's telling other people, buying a kufia, like supporting a Palestinian business, whatever it is, sending money, donating, if you have the means to do so, like just show support, like whatever you can. But just so you guys know, free Palestine.
All eyes on Rafa.
Yeah. And we love you guys.
Yeah,
and
we do.
love and support our Palestinian brothers, artists, musicians, just the Palestinian people in general. Those are the people that need the love and support right now. So if you can reach out to anyone, send donations, or just like love and support and like supporting a business, whatever it is, whatever you can
call
do.
Your Congress members, call your politicians, email them, protest if you can and you're able.
Yeah.
Donate money if you're able. If you're not able to do that, research and open your mouth and speak and tell people and post about it and just do what you can.
But yeah, so sorry that was a move away from what we are going to do today, but I think it's an important thing that people should be discussing. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Now to get into our relationship episode.
Relationships. Which boys, girls, theys.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're all inclusive over here at the Gay Math Podcast.
Which, okay, it's funny that we're doing a episode on relationships because neither of us have ever been in one.
Never. Not a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a they friend.
No.
Between us. Not a... all I've ever had is like a light crush.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever had. I'm almost 26. And I was driving over here today like, is it ever gonna happen?
Dude.
Is it literally ever? Am I ever gonna find someone that I don't hate, that I'm attracted to, that's attracted to me? I just don't know.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. Okay. So I was talking to this guy about it actually, because I'm like talking to this guy, but it doesn't matter. We don't know what's going to happen. We're not getting our hopes up because men disappoint you. But
right.
He asked me like, why am I still single? And I think a part of our lives for sure have something to do with that because we're in the church and like,
yeah,
you know,
I was also closeted for 22 years.
Exactly.
So I wasn't particularly wanting to date women,
right?
Because I'm gay and I wasn't allowed to date men. So for like 22 years I couldn't really, I couldn't date or like have a normal experience. So I'm basically like a toddler when it comes to dating.
Yeah. And like at the time first I was like uncomfortable in my body like my whole life growing up, because I wasn't like, you know, the ideal body type. And I also then like went to church or whatever. And then there you're kind of like told to be like, you're supposed to date in a certain way that's like appropriate and like, you know,
10 dates before you hold hands.
Yeah. Like
10 more dates till you peck. Like,
exactly. Like you're also
date for 6 months before you actually kiss.
And you're supposed to like date to marry and stuff.
Oh God.
So it's like a whole thing.
I can't even imagine that now. Can you imagine now going on a first date being like, could I see myself marrying this person?
No, literally.
I don't even know if I want to sit here for an hour with you and have coffee, let alone marry you.
Exactly. So that like has for sure affected has somewhat affected like our reason why for like not being in relationships or not experience those kinds of things. Because like, first of all, being ugly, you're like, for like, you're young, you're like not as like, you know, you just don't look like everyone else. You're like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah, we weren't getting hit on. Let me speak for myself. I was not getting hit on in elementary school, middle school, high school. People were not hitting on me.
No.
I wasn't being flirted with. People weren't pursuing me. And like, that's definitely had an effect on us.
Yeah.
Religion has had an effect on us. I was chubby my whole life. That has got to do something to do with it. Like, there's a lot of reasons, but we also haven't found anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, so there's a lot of like factors as to why we've been single for our whole lives.
Exactly. And now I'm like at a different place where my body is now, it's not the ideal body type still, but it's still like one that I think is more coveted by men now, especially like because I'm curvy or like I have like big boobs or whatever, or like my
big boobs.
Oh. And I have like a nice butt or something like that. Oh, sorry. Making sure she's
big boobs.
But no, like literally, I think it's so weird, and I don't know if you've maybe experienced this, but there's this thing where it's like, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, because we've talked about different things like due to like dating or whatever, but there's this phenomenon when you're curvy like me, where guys like want to be with you. They want to like have sex, they want to like you know, be around you, whatever, and they like love the way you look. But when it comes to dating you, they won't date you. They'll date a skinny person, or they'll be with you but date a skinny person like on the side or whatever, because they don't want to be seen with like someone who might not be like skinny enough or whatever. Which also, no hate to my skinny queens, period, like
right,
but sometimes that's the reality. Like I think
you're like being chubby, it's like I was always the secret. Like people will have sex with you because they're attracted to you, but they're never going to date you. They're never going to want to be seen with you. They're never going to want to like post you on their Instagram and be like, my boyfriend. Because you don't look like how like you're supposed to like with a beauty standard. So it's just really weird.
And like sometimes even people like that, like they won't take you seriously. So even if you mention like, oh, like, yeah, no, I like you, like whatever, they're like, what do you think this is? Like they almost like, I've experienced it before where a guy has like been upset at me for even thinking that like he could like me in a different way. God. Like in a serious way, and he's been like, are you fucking stupid? Like,
oh my God,
like, do you think that you had a chance with me? Like that kind of thing.
It's interesting that you said like people don't take you seriously, and I've lost over 100 pounds, and what I've realized now, when I like post something, especially I have a very specific sense of humor, I'm very sarcastic, and like I feel like beforehand people would instantly get my humor. They would know that I was joking.
Just the ice cream. Yeah, it's the ice cream guy.
Should we go get ice cream? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, there was never me having to explain that I was kidding or explain that I was joking. But now, having lost the weight, I feel like people take what I say more seriously.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I feel like people now, they don't get my humor. They don't understand that I'm joking. And I'm like, you know what? Like, is that because I was fat?
No.
That people literally thought I was... They wouldn't take you seriously.
You know what it is? People think that fat... Like, so when you're fat... which I look very different than I used to. I like literally, I remember I used to have kids bully me, like boys bully me in like middle school and high school. And then the same guys, now that I look different and I have a different body type, I'm still not skinny by any means, but like now that my body type is like more, you know, in or whatever, they'll come back in my DMs and be like, oh my God, like you've grown up, like you look so good, blah, blah. But I think people are so used to connecting fat people with being funny that's why like when you're fat, you are expected to be like something more. Like also I think when you are like different looking or maybe fat or like you don't fit in, you have to develop something because people don't like you for who you are, because some people are shallow.
Yes.
So you develop this kind of personality and stuff, and then you're funny, and then you get like skinny or like you look different, and then they're like,
they don't get that you're joking anymore because they take you seriously now that you weigh less. It's
so stupid.
Weird. I think that's why I'm funny now because I was ugly as a child and I was bullied. And the thing is, as a child, it was either be funny and crack jokes and make them laugh, or no one's going to be friends with you.
Literally.
So I had to be funny and be the class clown and crack jokes all the time because that was the only way I would have friends.
That's why some hot people don't have personalities, because they're not used to having to try.
No, they're automatically taken seriously. They're automatically have friends, people are attracted to them and hitting on them. They don't have to have a personality.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of hot people are terrible to date.
Yeah, because there's nothing there.
No,
like,
there's no substance. They've never had to, you know, it's just, if you've been hot your whole life, you have a terrible personality.
Yeah. But also, too, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about like, society, I think as well plays a really big role in like making the whole fat funny thing, because the fat girl is always the sidekick, the funny one in the movie. The
comic relief.
Yes.
Not the main character, not the one getting the man in the end, not the one that gets the happy ending. It's just like the funny fat friend who cracks a joke and lightens the mood.
Exactly. So that for sure plays a part. But I mean, now that we're both like in different places, like you said, you've lost weight, and like I like obviously look different than I did when I was like a kid. It's weird trying to navigate, because I'm sure, like, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes I still like, whether it's like, maybe it's body dysmorphia, I don't really know, but sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I look really good today. And then sometimes the same day I'll go again and I'm like, I look so fucking like ugly. Right. I look so fat right now. Like, what the fuck? Yep. And it'll fucking play with my mind. Like, I'm like, wait, I literally just looked so good 2 minutes ago. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's literally, you look the same. It's just your mind is like playing tricks with you.
1000%.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I will look at myself and I'll be like, ooh, like I look good.
Yeah.
The second I have to go outside and like I see other hot people, I'm like, I'm a disgusting blob of a human and I should jump off a cliff now. Like, I don't know what it is when I'm very confident in myself, but when I'm around other people is when I get like that. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm this, like, I look how I did in the mirror when I just looked and was feeling myself. It's just so bizarre.
Yeah. And it's always so weird because sometimes like I'll have to like literally examine like pictures of myself or like video or whatever, and really like sometimes even like doing the podcast, I'll like watch back the videos of myself and I'm just like, why do I look so different than I like think I look in my brain? Sometimes like my neck will like look like, you know, so like I'll look like I have a double chin, or I'll like be hunched over, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I look at myself standing in a mirror, I'm like, you look so good. Like, why isn't it translating? Like,
right.
Cause then I have to remind myself to be like, oh, like, okay, don't, you know?
Right. It's just hard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all of this it's just further and further evidence why we're still single. And I just don't think, it's definitely not like us, which I'm trying to remind myself. It's not like I'm some freak who can't find a boyfriend. It's like, there's a lot of reasons why. And it's going to happen. We're just like, we have to get there slowly. But I on the last episode, I had just been rejected literally a few hours before we recorded. So I guess I could just like briefly talk about that, because it was the first boy I've ever had a crush on.
Oh, yeah.
And so we matched on, we didn't match. He messaged me on Grindr, which if you don't know what Grindr is a hookup app. It's not a dating app. It's not a friends app. It's a hookup app. So people use it to have sex. Okay. So my profile, it's not like my Hinge profile where it's all like wholesome and pics of me and like, I like scary movies. It's like, I don't need to get into it, but I use it for hookups. And so this guy messages me on there and says, "Hi, handsome," on Grindr. So
girl,
then we talk for a few weeks. He takes me out on multiple dates. He asks me to hang out every time. He pays for everything. We're flirting. I went back today and went through all of our texts and was like, am I crazy? And I screenshotted all the examples of times he was clearly flirting with me. There are probably 30 screenshots that I found today of, anyway. So basically, long story short, we went on some dates. I was developing feelings. I was flirting really hard. He was flirting back. And so right before we filmed the last episode, we were at the beach and I told him that I liked him. And he said that he thought we were just friends and he was interested in continuing the friendship that we had been building. But he didn't want anything more than that. So in the moment, I didn't really know what to say. And I was like, I guess I could still be friends with you. Like, I was just like processing all of it and I didn't really know. After that, he takes me out to dinner, pays for it, and gets even more flirty after that point, and the whole thing weirded me out. And then when we said goodbye, he dropped me off and was hugging me for so long and whispered in my ear, like, thank you so much for being honest. I was trying to like pull out of the hug and he was like rubbing my back. Like, he had never done that before.
Stop.
And then he was like, next time we hang out, you should like come to my house and watch a scary movie.
No, girl.
And he had already told me that he doesn't like having boys at his house that he doesn't like know very well. He has to like really trust them and have a good connection before he brings someone over. So then he asked me to come to his house and watch a scary movie. So then he leaves and I take a few days and process it. I talked to my therapist about it and she was like, I think you should tell him how you feel. Because after a few days, I was like, I'm never speaking to him again. I do not want to be friends with him. He led me on, whatever. So I reached out to him and said, basically, that, you know, last time we hung out, I know that I said I wanted to keep being friends with you, but I've taken some time to process it. And I felt like you were leading me on. You were doing all these things and it made me feel like you liked me. So when you said you didn't like me and we're only wanted to be friends, it hurt my feelings. And it would have been nice to know from the beginning that you were looking for a friend, because I would have been your friend because we have a lot in common and we got along great. If he had like opened with, I'm only looking for friends, I would have pursued a friendship with this person. But yeah, I just said all of this in like a paragraph and then he responds.
Oh my God.
Like, he instantly responds. And I was like, I don't even know if he's going to respond. It might take a few days. He's going to like type something up. Keep in mind, do we see the blue there? The essay I sent him. He said, hey, Seth, thanks for taking the time to communicate, period. I appreciate it, period. I respect your decision and wish you the best, with a little heart emoji, this one, where the hand's like this.
Literally the worst person alive.
So basically he said, fuck you and your feelings. I don't care that I hurt your feelings and I don't care how I treated you. So go fuck yourself. Is basically what he told me. And he lives across the street from me, so I'm probably going to see him.
And keep in mind, this man is in his late 30s or...
He is about to turn 34.
So mid-30s.
He's almost 9 years older than me, by the way. And I handled this situation so much better than he did. I was much more honest, much more communicative. And this is a grown-ass man.
Yeah. And okay, so I told Seth because this is like a thing that like guys do. Like guys do this all the time. And because he hadn't had this experience.
Yeah, this was news to me. I told my friends thinking they would be like, oh my God, what? All my friends are like, this is what happened. This has happened to me 5 times. This is what they do. They literally do this.
Yeah.
Which was news to me.
Like, and this is like a thing with like guys, like they love to like either, which happens a lot with women and guys, but guys love to like be a woman's friend sometimes because they want to sleep with them, but they insist that they want to, like, they're like, no, I'm her friend, but they're doing it to get closer to the person in hopes that one day they can sleep with them.
Not date them.
No, they just want to sleep with them. So that's one thing that guys do.
So is that like why when you're like, hey, I kind of have feelings for you, they're like, no. They're like, because all they wanted to do is hook up with you?
Yeah. So like, let's say a girl like has a boyfriend or something, or like maybe she's seeing someone and a guy that she knows like wants to be like close friends with her. And she's like, yeah, no, like I value our friendship. Meanwhile, she thinks this person is genuinely trying to be her friend. And as soon as the guy realizes there's no way that they can sleep with her or like, you know, maybe some of them want to be in a relationship with her, they detach themselves, they move on. And guys do that so often that I feel like women's friendship with men, that's why sometimes there's such a disconnect, because men sometimes only want to have sex or like be romantic, when sometimes women are genuinely looking for like male friendship or like having someone as a brother type of vibe.
Yeah.
And sometimes guys literally just befriend you because they want to fuck. And then when they realize they can't fuck, they get fucking angry. They get mad. They're mean.
Oh my God.
Or they'll do the same thing that guy did with you. And they'll be like, they'll like lead you on, take you places, like do like little date stuff, or treat you as if they would treat someone they're dating, and then be like, but we were just friends.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I would never like you. We're friends.
That is psycho behavior.
No, it's so insane.
There's this podcast I listen to, and it's the What We Said podcast, and it's two girls, and they always have this discussion, and it's like not pretty controversial, but it always gets like people talking about it. They always say that like if there is a straight man and a straight woman, they can't be friends. They can't have like a platonic friendship because like you said, men, like especially straight men with women, they see them as an object to have sex with. That's it. They don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And that's what they always say. They're like, straight men and straight women, they can't be friends because these men, there's probably a rare, of course, there's an example, of course, of a good straight man out there. And there are people with platonic friendships, but like, yeah, that's what they were saying. Just like these men only want to have sex with you. They don't want to be your friend. So it's almost impossible to be friends with them because
they're trying to do something else. So you're never genuinely friends with them because you are going in with a motive to be this person's friend, and they're going in with the motive to like literally have sex with you. So it's never genuine.
That's really frightening.
Yeah.
And I am very attracted to men. I have a lot of sex.
Yeah.
But like I don't every man I meet, I'm like, oh, I want to fuck them, and if that's it, then I don't want to be friends with them. Like I have male friends. I have gay male friends. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that there are men out there who like don't have women friends. They're not friends with women because they don't see them as people. They see them as objects to have sex with.
And I think some men who are like raised by women or like only have like mothers and
like
sisters.
That's a green flag.
Yeah. Some of them are like, they're great because they understand what women go through being like in a house where there's a matriarchy kind of thing.
Yep.
So I think those men could teach something to other men, like men who are their friends or like whatever. And I think that's the job of like male friendships. Like sometimes men need to teach each other things.
Yep.
Because
it's not women's responsibility to teach men to view them as not objects.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's a difficult thing too, especially like, I mean, now that I've realized that I'm like queer, but like that's stuff like I was dealing with before, like with men, like just trying to figure out like, does this guy actually like me? Like, or is he just trying to have sex? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, are we gonna move past a certain point? Or like, and I think I only had 2 different situationships where the guy genuinely was interested in me and wanted to like talk to me as a person. Yeah. Like I've had men speak to me and they only reference my body parts or like things they like about me physically. Like I've literally said to a guy before, name 5 things you like about me besides my physical features, and he could not name anything.
That's really disturbing.
Yeah. And that day I was like, you don't like me. I'm a person. You don't like me. You like my body, not me. And I didn't talk to him ever again, and I blocked him.
Good.
And then there are other guys which it took me a long time to realize that you can say no to like things, because growing up, like if you didn't do things with guys, sometimes certain guys, they would like get mad at you, or like, you know, they'd like call you mean names, or like, you know, this has happened to me
where they like want to hook up with you, and the second you're like, nah, they're like, you slut, you ugly bitch. Like it's just
oh like I remember, and I had to teach my family about it because this person was close friends with like people in my family, and he had a younger brother that knew people in my family too. But I literally had to tell my family that I was uncomfortable being around this person because they took advantage of me. Like I was probably a freshman or a sophomore at the time, and he was like a junior or senior, so he's older than me. And I was so like in love with him at the time. And he like, you know, whatever he like sang or whatever. And I remember like I wanted to like date him or whatever. And I was like, oh, like your girlfriend, blah, blah. He was like, I don't have a girlfriend. I was like, oh, you don't? I was like, well, I like you or whatever. And he was like, oh, okay. And then we started talking, and all of a sudden he started showing all this interest in me after I like mentioned that I liked him. And like he would text me and we would talk, and he would never look at me in school. Never. I would walk past him, not even look at me. He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't sit next to me. He would like try. He would be like, you have to meet me here like after school. And it would be like behind like,
God.
Yeah. And then he would ask me for like pictures of myself, or like ask me to do things like on video chat or like with him in person that I was uncomfortable with. And if I said no, he would literally, this is such a creepy thing. If you're a young woman or anything and somebody does this to you, this is not okay. But he used to be like, but like, you love me. Like, don't you want me to be happy? Like, don't you want us to like be together? Like, but I thought you cared about me. If you cared about me, you would do this. And I literally would be like, no, like, yeah. And I would do it so he wouldn't get mad at me.
That is scary.
Yeah. And then he used to call me mean names. He used to yell at me like on the phone. Like if I didn't do something, he'd be like, you're being so stupid. Like you're acting like a fucking baby, like stuff like that.
You were like 14.
Yeah. And like he would literally get so mad. Like I would be scared to see him sometimes.
Oh my God.
And like for years, I didn't say anything until like I ran into him in a store. Like when I went back to my hometown, and I was like walking up an aisle. It was a grocery store, and I was walking up an aisle looking for something with my aunt, and I like saw him and I froze. And I remember being so scared that I literally was like, oh my God. Because then I also thought like, does this person still have these pictures of me or these things of me that I like did because I thought that
you were being manipulated.
Yeah. So like, that's like, and then I didn't realize that I could say no because of that situation.
Yeah.
So going forward, when I started talking to guys, whether it was like Tinder, whatever, like Hinge, Bumble, whatever it was, I remember I was in a situationship with a guy, which I was 18. He was 28. So that's not okay. No.
Being not almost 28, but being 25, I can't even imagine dating an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
It's disturbing to me that people older than us want to date 18-year-olds. If you're older and you want to date a teenager, go get help. That is really weird.
Yeah, because I had just graduated high school. And
you're a child.
Literally, I just graduated high school and I was still in my hometown, like upstate for the summer. And that's how I met him. And
he was almost 30.
Yeah. And I remember he wanted me to do something and I was uncomfortable. And I was like, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, I hope you're not mad at me. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, like, I still like you. Like, I don't want you to be mad at me. And he was like, why would I be mad at you? And I was like, well, because I'm not doing what you want me to do. And he was like, Monique, that's not, people shouldn't treat you like that. And he like literally, this is one thing that I will thank him for, because he sat me down and he was like, if you ever don't want to do something, you tell me right away. And he was like, if you want to learn, or I'll do it, but like, you have to tell me if you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable, if you want to do something, if you don't want to do something. And if any man ever says to you they don't like you after you give them informed consent, that person you should never be around. Yeah. You should never talk to them because they don't care about you. No. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, like you can say no to me like anytime and I will fully be okay with it because I care about you. And I was like, that like took me back.
That's crazy. But of course you thought that. I mean, the only relationship you had was with this guy who, when you said no, he would get mad at you. Yeah. That he was manipulating you. Like, that is scary. And I'm just scared for him now. Yeah. The type of relationship, if he's with someone that he's doing this to, like, that's really scary.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that, like, hello, I'm like sure that gives some sort of context to why I mean, I don't really trust men. I don't, not that like I don't want to trust them, but every time I feel like I've given men a chance to prove me wrong, they've always proved me right.
Yep.
And I've learned from that first situation with that guy in high school, because he in a way told me exactly who he was.
Yeah.
And I was too young to understand it at the time.
Yeah.
But
which is
now,
why we don't date teenagers,
right,
because they don't have a fully developed brain and can't understand.
Right.
Like now you would be like, oh, he's manipulating me.
Yeah.
But you were a child. How were you supposed to know that?
And like, that's what I tell people now. And even like when I used to be like a teacher or whatever, I used to tell girls, like, when somebody shows you or tells you exactly who they are, believe them.
Yeah. Trust it.
Yeah. Because
that's who they are.
They will always be that person until, and my thing is too about relationships as well. You can never change anyone.
No.
Unless they themselves want to change, you can never do anything that will force this person to change.
Nope.
Nothing that you do will, like, even if you're trying to be so good, whatever, that is not going to stop someone from acting the way they are, doing things they are, hurting you, whatever, because they don't care.
Yeah.
So
1000%.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for someone to prove us wrong, but I don't know. I just have a lot of people be like, you just gotta like keep, you gotta go on bad dates. You gotta like have these experiences to find that person. But I'm like, I've been on so many dates. Like, you've talked to many different people. We're both sitting here still single.
Exactly.
So obviously we haven't been proven right yet. And I'm like, how many times do we have to go on a date? And like the situation that just happened with me, I'm like, am I gonna have to do that like
exactly
5 more times before? Like, I just can't. Like, why?
It's draining. It's like, and you know what? I would love to say that if we went back in the day, dating would be so much better. But that whole situation, like when our parents were dating or whatever, lots of them dated because they needed stability. They needed money or like companionship, because that's all that, maybe even like our grandparents, to go even further back, that's more like you date someone to marry someone to get money or like whatever.
Yeah.
But now, like, there's nobody who's like, not that I want to date to marry, that's like fucking, I'm not in that place anymore, but like there's nobody who's dating with the intention, not nobody, maybe there's some people, but there's not a lot of people dating with the intention to, I want to be in a monogamous relationship with this person that's healthy and not go out and look for something else.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. Like, even if you did find someone who like wanted that or wants to go on dates with you, they're always looking for something else.
Exactly.
They're always going to the clubs looking for someone else, swiping on the app still because you're not official, always looking for that next better option to come along. And it's like, how are we supposed to be in a relationship? And also, I am not settling. 1000%. There are people in my life that I've gone on dates with that would have dated me, that fully tried to, and I ended up breaking their heart, like whatever. But I'm just like, I'm not settling. And that's what a lot of our like parents did. Grandparents, they found the first person that was slightly interesting and was attracted to them, and they were like, well, I guess this one. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in a relationship and being miserable my whole life. And also, I feel like it's been so normalized for couples to like fight, or like, well, we're always fighting, we're like, that is not normal. You should not be like scream arguing with your partner all the time. Because I think about like my friendships, which it's different being romantic with someone versus a friend. I'm not arguing with my friends. Like, we could count on one hand the disagreements we've had, and they were never like screaming arguments. We're two adults. We sat down and had a conversation. So if you're with someone and you're like scream fighting at each other all the time, that's not normal. You shouldn't be fighting all the time. That's not a healthy, normal relationship. And like, I feel like in relationships it's normalized with like, oh, we're always fighting.
Yeah.
But that's not normal.
I think like having some disagreement is fine.
But you should.
Yeah.
To get closer. You know, anytime with a friend I've had a disagreement and we've talked through it, you get closer after.
Yeah.
But the like
always
and like every day there's people like fight. I watch Vanderpump and like, you know, it's just like they come home and they're like, why didn't you take the dog out and this, that, and like immediately just start fighting. I'm like, that is not healthy.
Which I can't wait. Side note about Vanderpump, I literally cannot wait till you catch up because there's so much stuff that I want to talk about like right now.
We've got to do like a Vanderpump episode once I'm almost on season 8.
Yeah, so
I'm making so much progress.
I've never seen the show. Like I've seen like an episode or two maybe or like clips and stuff. I've never seen it, but the way I know literally so much about it now. Oh my god.
Well, oh my god. Literally in like, I don't know, 2 months ago I was on season 3.
I am so excited.
So like I'll be done in maybe like June.
Because I really want to talk shit about so many people on the show. Because let me just say this, it's not going to be a spoiler, but if you're watching Vanderpump or you've seen Vanderpump recently, the way they are treating that one person, and you guys know the way they're treating that one person, they should be sent directly to hell for that. That's all I have to say.
And I can't wait to find out.
Oh my god.
And I'm so close. I watch it all day, every day. I will catch up so soon.
But back to relationships, like I think my hope is that someday, like, I don't know, like I always have hope. Like, and that's the thing, like my mom, she's very like not pessimistic, but every time, because when I was younger, I really, like when I was a little girl, I used to like dream about like weddings and like all this stuff, and obviously it got heightened when I started going to church and stuff like that. But my mom was always like, you should never get married. Like, I don't want that for you. I'm telling you, like literally, she was like, from experience, I don't want you to like have to go through what I went through. But I always have a little bit of hope that there will be that one person that literally like the blinds are like moved in front of my face and I'm like, oh my god, like this is it for me. But I don't foresee that. Like I don't see when that's happening. What like I can't even tell you. I literally can't even tell you. So my roommate is in a healthy, happy relationship, which it's like not new, but they've been dating like a year, and she's very optimistic about it. And like, I don't know, a year ago she was how we were, like, I'm never going to find anyone, was in all these horrible situationships with these men. And like now hearing her talk about her boyfriend, like just how he makes her life easier, and like like she just is like, I can't imagine my life without him, and like he doesn't add any sort of stress or anxiety. Like I'm around him and it's like this calming presence. He always knows what to say. He understands. Like she just talks so optimistically. And like when now I complain to her about boys, she's just like, I really believe you will find someone, and there is someone out there who will make your life better, who is attracted to you, who you're attracted to, who you get along great. They understand you, your feelings, what sets you off. Like we're going to find it, and I am choosing to be optimistic too, because we will. It's not going to happen how we expect it. It's not going to be this exact person that we have in our head, but like I just really believe it's going to happen, and there's going to be someone out there for us. Yeah. Well, see, that too is like I love that, but I also stop. I also hate your hair and makeup today. I hate when people are like, it's gonna happen when you least expect. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
I'm like, bitch, if somebody else tells me that, I will lose my fucking mind. Like,
yeah, the next person to be like, it'll happen when you least expect. I'm gonna be like, shut the fuck. Like,
no, literally
start fighting.
And then they're like, when you know, you know. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Literally catch you in 6 months you're like, when you know, guys, it'll happen.
No,
it's
literally.
out there. Because I think it does. It's like, it doesn't happen until it does. And I think people are right. It'll happen when you least expect it. I just shut up about it because it hasn't happened yet.
Shut
and
up
it's
about
annoying.
It. Yeah.
And we're having to go on horrible dates, and it doesn't make this any easier, but like, they're out there somewhere.
And you know what? That's the difference between Seth and I. Seth has been on dates. I don't think I've ever like officially been on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Like one time I met this guy from Tinder and like we hung out, but like that's not a date. Like we just like walked around, like literally it wasn't a date. He didn't plan anything. I'm the one who's like, yeah, we should do this. And that's not a date. And then I remember actually there was this one time that I like met up with this guy from Hinge and I was so much hotter than him. So period. And I took him to my favorite pizza place and I swear to God, the guys at the pizza place, every time I would go in, they would like all stare at me and whatever. And then when they saw me with this guy, like they were like, so I knew right then it was a no.
If the guys at the pizza place don't approve of your man.
No, because like clearly they're like, oh, this is a hot girl. And they like, you know, and then
it's one of those classic situations where the woman is like so hot and then it's just like the ugliest man you've ever seen.
And like he was just like, he was cute and nice, but he was like weird. And then the way like he like treated me, I was like, I'd hate this. Like he was like kind of like not the best. And then I remember one time I like the same guy that I met up with on Tinder, we like had went to Dunkin' Donuts, which it was back in the day, bitch.
Years ago.
Yeah, but we went to Dunkin' Donuts and the cashier woman was flirting with him and he was like laughing or whatever. So I put my arm around him to be like, oh my God. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, because you didn't like, you weren't doing anything. Like you were just like literally accepting it.
Yeah.
And then the same guy, that guy told me, he was like, here's the thing. I'm allowed to see whoever I want, but you cannot do that.
Oh.
And then
okay.
He called me one day and I was hanging out with some guys. This one guy I had the baddest crush on. And I was hanging out and he could hear him in the background. And I literally was like, oh my gosh. And he could hear him in the background. He was like, who is that? Who are you with? Why are you with some fucking dude?
Oh.
Like, you're so fucked up.
What?
I'm over here, like, thinking about you, blah, blah. I'm like, you're with another bitch. Like, why are you, like, mad at me?
Literally,
he was literally fucking somebody he worked with, but I wasn't allowed to even hang out with a man.
What? Why did they do that? Dude? I saw this TikTok where this girl was like, I went on a date and the guy asked me my body count and she was like, let me ask you first what yours is. Right. And he said over 100.
No.
She said mine's probably around 8. And he was like, ew, that's way too many. Like, that's way too high for me. I can't keep dating you. His was over 100 and she said 8. And he was like, you're a slut. I can't date you. You've been with too many people.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Right then and there, I'm decking him and walking out. Absolutely also, not.
If you're keeping meticulous track of your body count, it's just weird to me. I don't know. Like, I understand if you've had sex with like 3 people. Of course, you're going to keep track of that. But as someone who's had sex with probably over 100 people, I'm not having like a notch on my bedroom, keeping track like, oh, 107 now. Like, it's weird. It's almost like
it's like a conquest
to make the number higher, which that whole thing weirds me out.
And my thing too is like, fuck whoever you want as many times as you want, as many people safely, period. That's your business. And to be like feminist about women, you have to accept how women use their bodies and do their thing. But also men, for sure, allowed to do whatever they want with their bodies as well. But don't then use that against someone to be like, you're fucking gross, you're nasty. Like, what the?
That's just, you're a horrible human
like,
being.
I'm not telling you how many people, if you fucked a ton of people, that's your business. I'm so happy for you.
Love that.
But then if I've fucked a ton of people, all of a sudden I'm a fucking
you're a disgusting,
slut bag.
horrible person. And like, it doesn't make any sense.
No. And literally sometimes I like think about like, I've like just heard like, not even talking to men directly, but sometimes I'll hear men say stuff in bars or like out or like in a grocery store, and I'm like, huh? Like, what are you talking? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, I just think some of these men have never ever had to be held accountable for what they say. They can just, these straight white men can just walk into a room, say whatever they want and have no consequences. They can treat people like shit and no one does anything. Yeah. So like, we need to be calling them out and be like, what the fuck did you just say? What is wrong with you? You are an idiot. Like, why do they just like think they can do whatever they want and then get like the hottest girlfriend? Bro,
my favorite thing is to yell at men. So like anytime like I get the opportunity to scream at men, I will. Like one time I was walking down the street and this guy like started talking to me about Bo. It was the middle of the night, by the way. Started talking to me about Bo, and I was like, I literally looked at him like, and then he was like, oh, all right, I see how it is. And I was like, what the fuck did you say, bitch?
Yeah.
And then I literally walked over to him. I was like, stop fucking talking to me about my fucking dog and leave me the fuck alone.
Period.
And I was like, do you want to get in a fight right now? And then he stopped talking.
I bet he was like, whoa, I just... They always fucking do that.
And I stared at him the whole way that I walked away, because I was like, yeah, what are you going to do? Like, literally, what are you gonna do? And I understand that men are dangerous, and also we have to talk about the TikTok thing, but I understand men are dangerous, but here's my thing. I'm fucking crazy. So if it's me or you, it'll always be me. I will always leave the situation perfectly fine. I will end your life if I have to. I promise. You're not taking me out, bitch.
No.
Never.
No.
Never.
Me and were on the subway. I might bleep that. And there was this guy, it was really crowded, and he was like, hey, little mamas, you got such a nice ass, and was like looking her up and down and was like, I just want to like eat a piece of that, like, and it was like staring at her and going all around her. And I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, I started screaming at this man on the subway, and like, you know, I'm not confrontational, and I was literally 18, but he was like, whoa, man, like, I was like, you just said she had a nice ass. I was like, get off at this next stop, get out of our train or I'm calling the police. And people were like, yes. And then the doors open. I was like, get off this train.
Period.
Because they can do that stuff and no one says anything. Exactly. They need to be screamed at and embarrassed.
Exactly. But also I want to talk about this one TikTok trend. It's like, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man? I'm fucking picking the bear. Yeah. Hands down. And all the men.
Everyone is picking a bear.
All the men who are like, oh, you would get mauled by a bear. First of all, I wouldn't be mean to the bear. So I would literally like be like, okay, bro, live your truth. Like,
and also the bear eating you, or when bears like attack humans, it's not for like fun. It's because a human is in their space, and it's a bear's instinct when they see a prey to eat them. Right. It's just like their natural instincts. It's like when you go into the ocean and like get bit by a shark. It's like you're in their habitat. Yeah. We're disturbing them. They're just like, they're animals. It's their instinct to like protect, especially if it's a mama bear or whatever. So even if a bear did attack you, it wouldn't be out of like, it's just like their instinct, and like you're in their space, you're disturbing them.
And then my thing about the whole thing is like, every man who's like, you women are so stupid for saying a bear. Men have literally like killed people for saying no to them. They've like thrown acid on women. They've stabbed people for getting rejected. They've shot women for like.
I think honestly, being killed by a man in the woods would be like best case scenario for what a man could do to you. Like that would be, because that's the thing with the bear is like you're instantly dead, like, and it's over. But it's like men will like torture and like
literally,
it's just like
and I think too, like a bear too, like I've seen so many videos of bears that are like literally used to people that they'll get into cars or they'll like see a person and be like,
yeah, if you're not like coming at them threateningly, or if you see one, like get out of there. Like there's ways to like get out of it.
But a man would literally
they
like
would hunt you down.
Right. They would attack you. They would maybe like they were like, oh, we have to like fix the population. It's only us. And you're like, no, I don't want to have sex with you. They would force you. Like, it's a man is so much more dangerous than a fucking bear. Because not all men's instinct is to protect. A lot of men's instinct is to innately do what they want and think about the consequences later.
And that's more disturbing than a bear.
Because a bear is like, it's a bear. It's just randomly, that's like what they know.
The bear is not going to hunt you down and find you and then force you to reproduce and then like torture you. Like, worst comes to worst, the bear is just going to kill you. And you're done with it. And that's the circle of life, babe.
Yeah. But as for relationships, okay. Should I mention? Now you're saying his name. Okay.
Say my name.
I'm talking to this guy right now. It's very fresh, so we're not gonna get too into it.
Okay.
But he said something to me, which this is like, okay, the only reason why I'm like thinking about it in a different way is because this is TikTok's fault, by the way. TikTok has literally been telling me that my horoscope this season is like very much like a genuine, like you will find a loving relationship, like one
There's
that's like
something in the air right now.
I don't know what it is. Like literally every time I get new horoscopes, like because I think it's last time it was like the moon,
and then there was an eclipse just now where I saw it was like, you know, it was in the Aquarius, which is like the loving, the relationship one. It's just, there's something in the air right now.
So like literally all my horoscopes have been about love and careers and like money and stuff. And I haven't been using Hinge very much. I haven't matched with anyone in months. I matched with this guy randomly who's here to like his friend's wedding or whatever. He literally said to me, that he literally said, you have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
I literally, and then he's like, it's just like your eyes and then your freckles. And he was like, and your nose, it's like perfectly so fit for your face.
Oh my God.
He's like, you are like meant to be the way you are. I literally was like, what the fuck? Like, what the? And then I was like, okay, that was really sweet. And he was like, no, like I'm being honest, blah, blah. And then I said to him, I was like, I think I have a crush on you. And then he was like, no, like I have a crush on you. And then I said, so what did we do now? And earlier in the conversation, we'd been like, oh, we don't like really like marriage is weird, like whatever. And he was like, I think we have to get married. I literally was like,
what?
And then I mentioned that we go to like festivals and he was like, oh my God, I go to this one festival in the UK every year. It's my favorite thing. So is this man like he's also British? Like, is this man the love of, like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
I'm not saying that this man is the love of my life. I'm like joking, obviously, but like,
there's just something in the air. There's something up right now, and I don't know what it is. I've had a crush for the first time in my life. My other friend that never has a crush has a crush. You have a potential crush. Like, it's just weird.
Literally, bitch, I haven't had a crush since I was maybe in college.
That's crazy.
Like, I've never had a genuine crush on like someone, and since I've like was in college.
Oh my God. There's something, I don't know if people are like, maybe it's the stars or the horoscopes. Maybe people are just so like fed up with dating apps and how they've been going. So people are looking for something more real now. Like, I don't know what it is, but something's up.
Yeah. And if this guy turns out to be one of the worst people in the world, well, been there, done that.
I was about to say, would it be surprising?
No.
Would it be shocking? No. But we'll keep you updated.
We'll
always tell you when we are going on dates and stuff. And like, we're going to try and put ourselves out there, and this horrible situation that's happened to us.
Yeah.
We're just like, we're going to keep dating. It's not discouraging us it's discouraging, but we're still going to keep dating. We're still going to keep seeing people. And I just really feel like it's going to pay off.
Also, to every woman out there, please give me one chance. I know we talked about men this whole time, but I literally, as we all have talked about, we discovered that I was queer not too long ago.
Right.
So please, women, I am open and available. Yep. I want you so bad.
Yeah.
So please take me away from the men in the world. I want to be with you.
Yes.
Just
putting it out there.
Just give me an opportunity.
Our DMs are open. And if you're a Spanish boy with good style, around my height, around my age, who likes the outdoors, who lives on the west side, who has like a nice juicy ass, hit me up.
Yeah, okay.
And give me a chance.
Okay, I'll give you all my types just in case.
Yep.
Tall man, sadly white, boo. As a woman of color, nothing pains me more to say I love white men. Mm-hmm. But if you're a tall white man with like dark hair and maybe light eyes, whatever, like for sure. Or like, I don't know, hot. Meh. Or if you if you're a woman who's maybe a mask or like maybe
is a
just
bottom.
I just understood.
Doing like the math, you were like,
I was like, hold on. Who maybe is like, you know, giving top, just like wants to treat me like a princess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mine also needs to be a bottom. Continue your story. Just wanted to throw that out there because that is important. Anyway.
Just maybe a mask lesbian or like, you know, non-binary, trans. Girl, I like everyone. Yeah. As long as I like you, we're good, babe. As long as we match together, we're good. So
DMs are open.
Yeah, dark. You know what? I love people who have dark hair. Okay. You know, who are just like, girl, shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah, seriously, we need to wrap. This is scary.
Yeah, we don't need to get into
talking about our types and like, oh God.
Girl, and if I end up with somebody that's completely random, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off because what have I been doing my entire life?
I know. But I don't want to end up with like a white man. Ew.
Oh, well.
Speaking for me, we don't need to get into it. I've tried many times. It doesn't work. Doesn't work.
So yeah, Jacob Elordi, if you're watching this, hey.
If you've ever watched Love Island US and you saw Jared,
oh my God,
that is a fully straight man, and I feel bad because he's very straight, and I'm very thirsty for him.
He's like your type, so like
yeah, that type of man.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
I know he's very straight. Jared, if you're out there, I'd be your friend. I'm open to friendship. But that, if he looks like that... Girl,
you don't want to be that man's friend. Girl.
That is true. That is very true. But I would just want to have sex with you. And that goes back to our earlier conversation where men can't be friends with people because they just want to have sex with them. And then it's a whole thing. But if you look like Jared and you're a gay bottom who lives in Los Angeles.
Oh, ma'am.
Yeah. I guess this was the relationship episode.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed.
We'll keep you posted. We're going to keep going on dates. She'll keep you posted on. I'll let you know how my dating journeys go. I have some lined up, but like, I'm not getting excited about anything. Yeah. The future is maybe bleak at best. I was going to say maybe bright, but no, we're hopeful. Yeah. And if you're out there feeling like us, you're not alone. Yeah. So we should all get married.
Even sexy, hot people like us, sometimes we go through this.
Yeah, I know. We probably should have prefaced with this, but like, I know looking at us, seeing the most gorgeous people you've ever seen.
Exactly.
10 out of 10s, having dating problems, having people reject us is shocking.
It's so weird.
It's really shocking. Yeah. And it's shocking to us.
Exactly.
When I tell someone I'm interested and they say they just want to be my friend, I almost can't believe it.
Yeah, it's like strange. It's like,
you don't want to rip my clothes off and marry me and be with me forever?
You literally don't want to have the hottest fucking like wife and husband in the world. It's like, what's wrong with you?
So you want an ugly husband.
Yeah, you could literally bring me around other people and they'd be like, oh my God, that's the baddest bitch I've ever seen in my life.
Right. And you don't want that? Something wrong with you.
Anyways, thanks for watching.
You're not alone. And it's rough out here, but I believe it for you. I believe it for me.
Yes.
And us. We're going to find someone.
Yeah.
And this has been Gay Math.
Gay Math.
Go kiss your friends because they're the only people worth kissing. And go on some dates if you want to. Give it a shot.
We could never kiss. Well,
maybe if I was drunk. You would kiss me sober.
For fun. See how it... One day we kiss on the podcast.
Maybe that's our 100th episode. We'll kiss.
Okay.
Let's do it. Hold us to it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, we love you guys.
Bye.
Smooches. I'll kiss all of you if you give me an informed and enthusiastic yes.
Okay. Yes. Agreed.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love ya.